Welcome to the Breakfast Leadership Show, where we interview global thought leaders on business, leadership, and life. Here's your host, keynote speaker, best-selling author, and chief burnout officer of the Breakfast Leadership Network, Michael Levitt.
Welcome back. I've got Bjørn Ekeberg online. How are you today?
I'm great, Michael. How are you?
I am awesome. Really looking forward to this conversation. We talked a bit in the pre-show. You could take this in all kinds of different directions, but why don't we start by having you introduce yourself, and then we'll dive into the conversation about this latest thing that you're working on and how it's impacting entrepreneurs and people all over the world.
Yeah, for sure. My name is Bjørn, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Recharge Health. And we're a company that has made an innovative solution to people's health using infrared and red light technology. We can talk a bit more about what that entails and why that is such a game changer in the health tech and the sports tech space right now. But I've been involved in this for about 5 years and bringing an idea to market that is a concrete application. It's something that can help you improve your health, but it's also a larger conversation about the role of light, I think, the light environment in our perception of health. Because to most people that I met on this journey, when I pitched this idea that there is a light device that can actually have positive health benefits and improve your health, a lot of people think that's a very strange idea, like how that could even be possible. I think this is a bit of a paradigm shift that I'm in the middle of, and that's an exciting place to be in.
I agree. And we talk about the benefits of sunlight. Obviously, you have to be careful and don't get sunburned, and there's skin cancer and all that kind of things that can happen from that. But, we know just our moods, just talking about moods. If you're in a climate that doesn't get a lot of sunlight, your mood is impacted by that. If you work in an office building that has older lighting or dimly lit, or you don't get access to an outside window easily, it impacts just the mental kind of things, but that mental health is health. It impacts everything. So how did you discover this? Because I know in all the work that you've done and research, science, and everything else, how did you come across this research and then decide to venture in and bring it to market?
Yeah, it was a bit of a serendipitous story, I suppose, because my background is really philosophy of science, and I've written books on cosmology, and I had an interest in this. And then I did a lot of creative work as a screenwriter, film and TV production for about a decade. And I was contacted by some old friends of mine that I know that run business in Asia, and they do electronic products, hardware products, solar cell lamps. Like, they would create this for European American customers, and they had stumbled on some research. It was NASA research, and it was backed up by a lot of PubMed articles they'd found about the impact of near infrared and red light on the physiology of the body, like on the cellular level, that its ability to basically stimulate the cells to work faster and more efficiently. And there was a whole lot of science and research on this, and they had the ability to make a product. And so I was introduced to this idea, and I was at first baffled why we haven't heard about this before, because actually the research goes back decades, and NASA has been working on this since the early 2000s, I think, with prototypes. And I realized, along with then my co-founders at the time, that the reason we haven't heard about this technology and all these applications is because nobody has really made it very accessible and easy to use. There is a bit of a cottage industry for like these kinds of light bulbs that you can buy, like stationary panels and light bulbs. You can, if you know what it is, you can find a solution, but nobody's really made it super easy to use. So we set out to design and create the world's first wearable infrared therapy device that you could basically just take with you, use anywhere, anytime, get all the benefits of a stationary panels, but just, ease of use in the home, family, share it, whatever, easy to use. And my role was to try to take this to market, and we launched it a few years back, and we've sold over 18,000 units now. There's a real demand for the product when people first get their eyes up for it. but it's part of a larger story of how, opening people's eyes to this kind of technology being effective. And I think that's been the driver for me all along. It's not to, sell FlexBeam, which is the name of the product, the therapy device in itself. It is part of bringing a larger message about this importance of light that you touched on, which is completely undervalued and underappreciated. And some of the applications and some of the benefits are really mind-boggling, actually, that we don't know about.
That's one of the things. There's actually a quote, I think, on your website that I saw about science and discovery. So it seems like, and I'm guessing because you said the quote, you strongly believe it. And I nodded when I read it because it made a lot of sense to me. It seems like when we discover an innovation or discover a new way to do something, whether it's in the labs or something else, that's great and all that, but it doesn't seem like that we spend a lot of time studying for new ways of things that we found. We discover something. It's like, okay, we've got this, it's created, it's running, and then all of a sudden it's kind of like a set it and forget it type of thing, where we don't look at it deeper to go, okay, what other applications do we have for this product or idea or something like that? So, okay, we found it, it's there, it sits off in the corner and does its thing, and we march on to different things. But it seems like, well, that's the framework I'm trying to pull together is, we've always done it that way. And it seems like there's still so much to be discovered on things that we've discovered. And, with, obviously with the light and all this stuff, and, this, study has been going on for decades now that, is finally, coming to market thanks to you and your team. It just seems like, why so long? Why aren't we looking at that? Because all the benefits that you just briefly mentioned are critical. If you can, heal the body faster, if you can get the cells to work better, it shortens the time in recovery in certain aspects of things, which means, okay, what are some other things we can do? Light therapy, and even, I'll use an example. I read this, I think it was in Scientific American the other day, where there was a discovery of being able to basically 3D print something with a composite liquid type of situation. So basically they were able to use sound waves and things like that and take a liquid substance and make a shape, which means, thinking long term, that is a science that could basically, replace a hip or fix a hip without cutting the patient open. And you just start thinking about all the applications of these innovations. So for me, it's one of those things like, dump the money in R&D, dump it in research, dump it in science, because there's so much benefits that we can find through, people like you that are like, okay, let's look at this, let's dig this out and flush it out. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, certainly there's actually a lot of interesting discoveries in R&D, and you find even, small communities sort of online sharing this knowledge and that are all in on this, but how to get outside of that bubble, like how to make that bubble sort of diffuse into, if not the mainstream, at least the larger majority of people, for them to get the awareness of it. That's why I say there's a real barrier. Like, we knew what to make, the product, the innovation we can make, and we have, working on a version 2 behind this one. That is an exciting and interesting field. The hardest part is actually getting people's awareness or attention, and more than just the 3 seconds that you normally get in a scrolling feed online or something, to actually take in that there is this whole different approach to how you see your health and what you can do with your health than what we're taught. Right. So one of my co-founders and the inventor of the device that I first teamed up with, he started this from something I would almost describe as almost a righteous anger, when he was part of his driving force in the beginning, because he was incensed that this is not available to people when there is a technology that relieves pain, reduces inflammation, helps to repair muscle, all these things. And he put it to me this way, that why can't I go to a pharmacy and get a device to help me with my pain and recover faster, instead of taking pills or only get prescription for pills? And I think part of that was a driving force with the founding team of just this sort of non-pharmaceutical approach that on many levels works much better And this is not to diss necessarily the role of pharmaceuticals in some applications, but that is completely the dominant paradigm, is this biochemical paradigm by which the only way medicine is administered is through pharmaceuticals. And what we were sitting on and what we're developing is in many ways a more powerful and broader approach that has that is also natural. And so, we see I think a lot of the barriers have to do with just what people can't really quite imagine, because this is not what they're told that medicine is supposed to be doing, that light can be medicine. That sounds airy-fairy, and I'm sure maybe some of your listeners are already having the woo alert or something from this, but the science on it is really, it's really solid, that this has like major impact. And we've only seen the beginning of it because we're only now starting to get applications and devices out there that people can use.
Yeah, my audience, I certainly hope they don't necessarily think this is kind of this woo thing, because over the years I've introduced all kinds of different things that were mind shifting, and it kind of brings me back to, and I just finished a book, I think it's called Think Again, and by Adam Grant, and we often have beliefs or things that we were told, the pharmacy knows everything. And I know pharmacists personally, nothing against them, but I worked in healthcare and primary care for over a decade. I am one, if you can find a natural way to address your situation, whatever it is, I highly encourage you do it, because look at the key word there, natural. Your body will naturally adapt to it because it's something that your body is designed to take. When you put in compounds of different types of ingredients into a medicine, it have all kinds of different side effects. You see them on commercials all the time. It's like 10 seconds about what the product does and 90 seconds on all the side effects. And I look at that and personally I just go, why in the world would I want to take that? And again, I worked in healthcare for a long time, and obviously I've had medicines prescribed to me before for certain things, and that's fine. But for me, if I can find something that's naturally part of, like light, for example, we get it, so that's important, or any type of ingredients or plant-based or anything like that is natural, that doesn't need modification, that my body would naturally be able to consume, absorb, whatever, because my body was designed to receive it, it's going to be better. The recovery is going to be better. I'm going to feel better, and all the benefits. And again, even though it's been, studies have been going on for a few decades now, you're still, just scratching at the surface of all of the benefits of this. So, I'm a big, obviously, a big time supporter of anything like this that will help people feel better. So they feel better, they are better, they perform better, they're better family members, they're better friends, they're better employees, they're better employers, which just benefits society. So, I'm thrilled that this product was brought to market by you and your team, and I'm really looking forward to the next innovations that are coming from it. So, without obviously spoiling any trade secrets or anything like that, what are some things that you see potentially that this, technology and innovation and research is going to flush out over the next decade?
Yeah, so that's an interesting topic, like where that is going, right? I wanted to touch on, you were touching on something really crucial, I think, in the context here of the paradigm shift that I think we're part of, and I think that you are helping to get the word out on it. It has to do with how we consider how we think of our bodies in terms of health, in terms of healing, right? Because you expressed it really beautifully, I think, just that we are designed already to do this. Like, what our bodies actually do is to repair themselves constantly, right? The cells in your body are in this fantastic orchestrated symphony of always wanting, like always recovering, healing from something. This kind of process goes on naturally. And this is a part of healthcare and healing that I think is kind of lost in the biochemical paradigm or the pharmaceutical paradigm, in which it's just, you just take something and then it's fixed, or you take the symptom away and it's fixed. right? Once you start seeing your own body as really the healing capacity, then light comes in, light with specific wavelengths and specific output. What it does is it improves that natural ability you have, right? This is an entirely different way of thinking than taking a pill to get rid of a symptom, right? So just want to underscore that aspect, like it clicks into place for most people. The possibility and the applications of this, once you consider that it's really your body that is doing the healing. It is not the device that magically fixes you. The device gives you the energy you need exactly where you need, so you get better faster, right? So, and that's why I see, a lot of the technologies that we are looking at embedding in a version 2, besides near infrared and red light, they all play and they're all part of this sort of spectrum of technologies that work at the cellular level or the physiology that improves the body's own capacity to heal. Right. So there's both a mind shift in terms of how we see ourselves, and then this, technological shift in terms of what we're able to make. Because this device, this is called FlexBeam. That's the first product we put out, which is, wearable near infrared and red light therapy. It wouldn't have been possible to make only 5, 6, 7 years ago, because it requires, even though it's only light, it's actually really super compressed, powerful LEDs. So this kind of thing wouldn't have been available, at least not at the prices that we're able to make it at, in the previous decades. And we're seeing some parallel technologies that combine well with light that are also moving in the same direction, that it's becoming more cheaper and more available, so you can combine them and you can get complementary effects.
That's the beautiful thing about innovation and discovering things that were astronomically priced and out of reach for even companies to even acquire, to test and play with, to the point where it's becoming affordable, where we can deploy this into a consumer element or even a workplace element where, okay, we're, go into the therapy room and, okay, I have a headache. Okay, we'll go in there for a few minutes, get treated. You come back out, you feel better than you did when you came in the morning, and you're energized and all that, or you've got, inflammation, which it's amazing how many people don't recognize that a lot of the ailments they have are inflammatory based. So, they take the pain medications, which just basically dull it, but doesn't really address the cause of it, where you start going through a therapy to, okay, let's address this, in unison with, the foods to eat and how you live, lifestyle, climate, all of those things play a factor too. But getting an understanding of where the root is of things, instead of just, slapping a Band-Aid on it. And long-term, you'll feel a lot better, and obviously reduce a lot of the, long-term impact of just constantly reaching for pain medication bottles, which, so we know long-term what that can do to your body as well, where light, as we discussed before, kind of one of those things that we use and need every day. So for our bodies, and, getting, the right amount of treatment through, this device and future innovations is going to go a long way in helping people feel better. And that's one of my biggest mandates, is I just want people to feel better. And what feels better for them is, based on, their makeup and all of that. But I tell you, when I feel great, time flies even faster. You're in the moment, you're present, you just, life tastes better when you're feeling good. And I want more people to feel good, because I know a lot of people aren't.
No, for sure. And a lot of it has to do with the, the energy you feel in your body when you feel good, like that release, right? And just that you have energy at your disposal, that means that you can act according to, you can put things into motion that you couldn't otherwise. I mean, that's a recipe for joy, right? Is to increase your capacity to act. And I mean, this is part of the shift as well in how we think about our bodies that I'm really seeing. It's clicking in for a lot of people. This is why I think it's really wonderful timing now in the whole health space, that people are increasingly taking responsibility of their own health, or finding different solutions, and are not always just trusting the established sources. find their own ways. But when we started, like the doctor on our team, on our founding team, she used to say, you know, like we talk about energy and that your body is a battery. And at first I sort of thought that that's a nice metaphor. Yeah, let's play along with that. Your body is like a battery. And then I realized as we dove sort of deeper into it and into the physiology that it's not a metaphor. Like your body literally is a battery when you look at like how energy processes run in the body, how the cells function, all of this, it's about energy. And what light does, like light at specific wavelengths does, is like it recharges your battery. This is why we call the company Recharge, right? Because you literally have like what you get from sunlight is not just light in the visible sense, you get energy from it. We just take it for granted. I mean, it's just like you see the plants grow, they need sunlight. Humans need as much sunlight as plants do, right? We just literally are created so that we can soak up that energy, reconvert it, and then use it for whatever is necessary. And part of that goes to healing, right? So for your body to heal and for your body to recover and for your health to improve so you can feel better, it is all tied back to the energy processes in your body, right? And I think increasingly more people are starting to see it this way and can relate intuitively to this being the case, but this is not what we're really taught about what the body, how it functions, right?
It's so much for us to relearn on how we operate and, you know, what we are as energetic beings, and, you know, leveraging technology and innovation and pioneers like yourself and your team to bring this forth so we can make the shift from a reactive type of healthcare to a proactive type one. So, Bjørn, I've loved this conversation. Where can people find out more about you, this product, and everything else you're doing?
We can go to recharge.health. That's the name of our company. Our URL is recharge.health. And there you'll find more on the team and the product. The device is called FlexBeam. We're seeing a lot of interest and uptake in both sports and health, and people are into health optimization who really want a solution that is on the go, that is effective, it's powerful, and easy to use. So
we'll definitely have that all in the show notes. So Bjørn, I love this conversation. Thank you so much for your time today, and congratulations on this work, and continue doing it because it's going to make a big difference in humanity. So thank you so much.
Thanks for having me on, Michael. Appreciate the opportunity.
Thanks for listening to the Breakfast Leadership Show, part of the Breakfast Leadership Network. Visit breakfastleadership.com for tips on empowering your business and your life.